Are we gonna go one by one, sir?
I'm going to try to do one of each type on the review. I don't know if we have time, I'll do more than that, but I'm gonna do a couple partial fractions and then we'll move on, so forth. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So this is exam 1 review. Let's start with number 1, I guess. It's 2x minus 5 over x squared minus 5x minus 6. Okay, so I'm sure it's been a while since we've done partial fractions, so let's go ahead and show all our work. So remember, we said the first step should be to factor everything on the bottom. So this will be just a simple trial and error type factoring, right? So this will be plus 1 minus 6. Yeah, that's right. So these are distinct linear factors. So this is case 1. So this will become a over the first one plus b over the second factor. So then we said we multiply both sides by the LCD to start. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and start that step. So the left-hand side times the LCD. And then each of these terms okay. So we already know that the left-hand side always cancels this way. So we're left with 2x minus 5 equal to x plus 1 times x minus 6. Oops, sorry. Actually, one of those cancels too. So this will be x minus 6 times the a over x plus 1. X minus 6 cancel here, right? Leaving us with x plus 1 times b. I don't know why I wrote x plus 1. That already canceled. Sorry about that. Oh man, I'm smeared. Okay. Alrighty. So at this point, I showed you how to create the system. If you want, this time we could try the Heaviside method just to show you a shortcut. It works with simple setups like this. So what I can do is say let x equals 6. So plug in 6 everywhere. So you get 2 times 6 minus 5 equal to 6 minus 6 times a plus 6 plus 1 times b. So this would be 0, right? This would be 7b. That makes sense? So 12 minus 5, that is what, 7? 7. So divide both sides by 7 and you get b. Okay, now let x equal to -1. 2 times -1 minus 5 equals to -1 minus 6 times a plus -1 plus 1 times b. So this will be -7 equal to -7a plus 0. -1 plus 1 is 0. 0 times b, still 0. So -7 equals 7, -7a. So divide both sides by -7. So 1 is equal to a. Double check my work here. Yeah, looks good. Let me see.
Any question?
Yes.
When we're doing the homework or like the review, what is the answer actually looking for if we have to type it in? Is it looking for just like b equals 1 and a equals 1, or is it looking for?
It wants to know the actual answer. So you have to plug in the 1 up here. So the answer would be, right, would be a 1 over x minus 6 plus 1 over x plus 1. So we're transforming the original into this.
Okay.
But either way, I'm going to be grading your work, so it doesn't matter what you choose. If it's wrong,
Okay.
I'm just going to give you points based on your work. So don't stress about the options. You could leave it blank for all I care. I'm going to be looking at your work. Okay, so any questions on this method? Did it make sense? We can do it the other way too, if you like. It doesn't matter.
Yes, can you?
Yeah, let's do the same question the same way. So we'll start right here. That cool? Because we're just going to expand this and create the system.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So number 1, alternate method here. The original method, I guess. We had 2x minus 5, right? Yeah. X minus 6 times a plus x plus 1 times b, I believe. Let me double check. Yes. So doing it the other way, this would be ax minus 6a plus bx plus b. Okay, and then we group all the ones that are the same. And we create our systems, right? We would equate the coefficients. So a plus b for the x's are equal to 2. The constants would be -6a plus b equals to -5. Then you can use substitution, matrix, or elimination. I'm going to choose elimination. Let's see here. Multiply number 1 by -1. Equation 1 by -1. So that gives me -a minus b equals -2. I did not change equation 2, right? Oops, I'll just put a plus right here. Once you've done that, you add the equations up. -b plus b, 0. -2 minus 7, or minus 5 is -7. -a minus 6 is a -7a. I don't know why I did it in that order, but doesn't matter. So now we have this equation, 7a equals to -7 divided by -7. Now, if A is 1 and A plus B is 2, that means B must be 1. So that's why we learned it the first time. Just creating a system and solving the system using any method you want. I prefer the matrix just because it's easier, but you don't have to do it that way. So the answer would still be the 1 for the A over x minus 6 plus 1 over x plus 1, once you convert this, the original problem. The other method is easier, but it doesn't work all the time. It only works for easy type questions. We have like a couple of terms like this. That's why I want you to do it this way first. Once you master this way, feel free to add another tool if you want to. You do not have to. Any questions on number 1? Either way, either method. All right, let's do the cube type. Oh, and looks annoying. Let's do that one. You guys cool on this page? Okay. Let me know. Let me know if I'm going too fast or anything. So this is number 3, I believe. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So the instructions are still decompose the partial fraction. So I'm not going to write that right now. 13x plus 2 over x cubed minus 1. So this is equal to 13x plus 2. X difference of cubes, I forget the formula, so let me double check it. Where the pluses go. Here it is. Yes. So the bottom is a difference of cubes. So that's going to turn into x minus 1 times x squared plus minus actually. No, that was right. That was right. It is plus 1 plus x plus 1.
Could you refresh our memory on the difference of cubes, sir?
This is the difference of cubes right here. If you have something cubed minus something else cubed, it will always become this, a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So this is the 1 cubed is the same as a 1. So that's what the b term was. Right, you can rewrite that as a 1 cubed. So just apply the formula and then you start the partial fractions. So we're going to have a over the first one because that's just a linear factor. But the other one is an irreducible factor, quadratic factor. So I'll have to write it this way. Any questions so far? Is that okay? Or we just use the formula and then we use the, I think it was case 3. I forget the numbers. If you still have them, it was the one with the irreducible factor. Okay, so at this point, that's our LCD, right? So multiply both sides by that. So we know that the left-hand side is going to cancel and leave us with this, right? So I'm going to skip a small step. Hope you're okay with that. Let me know if that's confusing. Just trying to save space on this line here. So multiply each fraction times this guy. Each fraction times this garbage. Okay. So I'll just pretend I multiplied it on this side too. And then the whole thing canceled, right? I skipped that step. So 13x plus 2 will be equal to, so that canceled, leaving me with x squared plus x plus 1 times the a. The whole quadratic cancels, leaving me with x minus 1 times bx plus c. All right. So now just multiply everything out and group the things that have the same power, same degree. So this will be distribute the ax squared plus ax plus a. This will be a binomial multiplication or a FOIL type. So this will be bx squared minus bx plus cx minus c. Double check that. Bx times that, bx times this, c times that, c times that. Okay. So let's group everything that's the same power. X squares together, the x terms together. And then the constants. And then create our system here. So this will be for the x squares, a plus b is equal to 0. There is no quadratic. So that's these two. The linear terms will be a minus b plus c equals to the x term here, 13. All right. Then a minus c is equal to the constants 2.
Wait, sir?
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Between the bx2 and bx, is that a negative?
The bx squared minus bx right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a minus sign here.
Okay. Oh, I wrote it down wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries. Minus plus, double check everything. Yeah, okay. Okay, so at this point we have 3 unknowns, 3 equations. So you can do a matrix, you can do elimination. It looks like elimination and substitution would be annoying for this question. I would suggest use the matrix, but we can check it out in a second. So that would be 1, 1, 0 for the coefficient matrix. So 1a, 1b, no c. Second row, 1a, 1b, 1c. 13 is right there, 0 is right here. 1a, no b's, and -1 for my c, 2. So I'm going to solve this with the machine, and then we can, attempt substitution. That way we know what the right answer is. That is a 3x4 matrix. So that is 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, -1, 1, 13, 1, 0, -1, 2. So the answer, when you solve this matrix, you would end up with row echelon form, which is this ones on the diagonal is all that means. With your solutions on the right-hand side, 5, -5, 3. So A is 5, B is -5, C is 3. So that's my answer. But let's say we wanted to attempt substitution. So using the first equation, so using number 1, I'm going to label these so I can refer to them. Okay. So using 1, A is equal to -B, right? Now, if I substitute this into equation 2, that would give me A plus C equal to 13, right? If I replace, because they have -B right there, that can be replaced with A. Okay, so now I have 2A plus C equal to 13. So that means that C is equal to 13 minus 2A using equation 2. So now I can replace this for C on equation 3. This is why I said use the solver. Number 3, we have A minus C. Replace C with all this nonsense. So we're going to have A minus 13 minus 2A equal to 2. Distribute the negative, that'll give us A minus 13 plus 2A equal to 2. So 3A, 2 plus 1 minus 13 is equal to 2. So 3A equals to 15. Oh man, okay. Divide by 3. A is 5. So we got the first one. So if A is 5, let me slow down a bit. There's a lot of algebra going on here. Do you see what I did in step 1 and step 2? Or equation 1 and equation 2? You guys still with me here? Is there any questions about this? You see how I use this to input into equation 3 right here. So we're just doing algebra, solving for A, B, C's. That's all we're doing. So now that we have A though, A plus B is equal to 0, right? What does that mean? What does B have to be then?
-5.
Yeah, it has to be, right? Which is what we had. So great. So if A is 5, A minus C is 2. 5 minus something is equal to 2. What does C have to be? Right, using equation 3. Once we have A, these just come right out, don't they? So this is using matrix, this is using substitution. So it still comes out, no problem. But one's a little more complicated, or a little, I guess I should say more algebra heavy. If you choose to use a matrix or a solver, as long as you show me the setup here, the matrix and the solve matrix, and I'm cool with, I'm good enough for me. Any questions on either method?
What about doing, or if you have time, what about doing the matrix on a calculator?
Yeah, you want to do it real quick on the calculator? Shit, actually my calculator is dead.
You can, I might have to YouTube this.
What's that?
You can try. I might have to YouTube this.
Yeah, I can send you the calculator. That's pretty straightforward, the video on it. Uh, Give me 1 second. And my calculator is dead. Okay, we'll come back to it once it charges for a bit. All right, so next question will be number 5.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
The BX plus C on that one, do you only use that when it's like 3 of them? You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you only use it when you can't factor this and it's quadratic.
Okay,
So if it was x squared plus 1, you would still use it.
okay, thank you.
Okay. One moment. Okay. Number 5. Where is it? Convert the angle to a decimal in degrees. Round to 2 decimal places. Okay. (15°), 59 minutes, 15 seconds. Oh, by the way, I didn't write the answer on the last one. The answer is, 1 second, where'd it go? Answer is D. Should be the same on yours, I think. If not, I mean, if otherwise, just plug in the numbers, right? Plug in the 5, -5, 3 at the very beginning. But it should be D. Okay, so what I'm gonna need just write my little formulas here. 1 minute is 60 minutes. 1 degree is 60 minutes. 1 minute is 60 seconds. So remember we said we're just gonna leave the degree alone and change this into a decimal. 15 degrees. Oh, wait a second. Where is it? Yeah, we're going to use this one. Where is my formula? Okay. So 1 minute will be 1/60 degrees. Man. One second will be 1/3600. So just to make it simple, just write down our formulas right here. We're just going to plug them in, not make it difficult. Okay, so we got to separate this. So 15 degrees is done. So plus 59 minutes plus 15 seconds. So change this to 15 degrees plus 59 times 1 minute. Right, that's the same thing. 15 times 1 second. And then substitute what they're equal to. So I would have these formulas somewhere on your formula sheet just to make it easy on yourself. So this would be 15 degrees plus 59 times 1/60 degrees plus 15 times 1/3600 degrees. Okay. Let me find my other calculator, my non-fancy one. Let's see. So that will be 59 divided by 60, right? Oops. Yes, yes. Okay, so that will be 15 degrees plus 0.9833, repeating, plus, now let's do 15 divided by 3600. That will be 0.0041, say 66, repeating. So add these all together, that'll be 15 degrees plus all this nonsense, 0.9833 plus 0.004166. So our answer will be around to 2 decimal places. That looks like about 15 degrees, 0.999. Let's see if that's what they have. Actually, degrees goes at the end. That's weird. All right, hopefully they're cool with that. Yep, looks like D is 15.99. Any steps that didn't make sense? Is that okay?
Sir?
Mhm.
Oh, I was just about to ask, did those things have degree symbols? That
Yes.
was all I wanted to ask.
Yeah, they become degrees when you multiply here.
Thank you.
Everyone cool on number 5? All right, number 6, I'm hoping is something nobody misses. Convert to radians. And it's going to say express the answer in multiples of pi, meaning they don't want to see a decimal. They want to see something pi over whatever. So we said, when you have a question like this, convert by multiplying by the conversion factor of pi over 180 degrees. Yeah, it looks ugly. (105 degrees times pi over 180 degrees. So essentially the degrees cancel, leaving you with 105 pi over 180. So at this point, you just have to reduce a fraction and you're good. So let's see. 5 goes into both for sure, right? Gives me 21. 180 divided by 5, 36. So that's 21 pi over 36, but not quite small enough because 3 goes into both. This will be 7 pi over 12.
Sir,
Yes.
so the way you describe how to solve this one is like, if you were gonna give us actual steps to do it, would it be like, take what you're trying to convert, multiply it by pi over 180, and then just reduce whatever you end up getting?
Yes. And so you need to have an exact answer. I'm showing some basic steps of reducing a fraction. If you lack some steps, I for sure want to see at least this first step. Yeah, try to show your reduction. Number 7 is the same thing, but it's going from pi to degrees. Let's do number 8. Okay, number 8 says an object is traveling around a circle of radius 10 centimeters. If in 20 seconds a central angle of 1/3 radians is swept out, what is the linear speed? Okay, let's see if I can also paste it over here so you can see it. Okay. The only thing that didn't show up on the text box or chat box is the 1/3, but it says 1/3 radian. Okay. So we need the formula for linear speed, right? Excuse me. I believe linear speed is v equal to s over t. And we also know that s is the arc length created by I guess the radius subtending an angle. So that distance around the circle is s, r times theta. So luckily it's already in radians, 1/3 radians. So we first need R. I mean, we need S. So let's find out what the heck is R. That is circle radius 10, right? So 10 centimeters. Okay, and we have an angle of 1/3 radians, okay? We also have time of 20 seconds. All right. So V is equal to, so first let's find S. That'll be R times theta, and that'll be 10 times 1/3, which is equal to 10 thirds. So once you have that, you just plug it in here. So we have 10 thirds centimeters over 20 seconds. Okay. Does that look weird? Is that okay? That's the same as saying 10 thirds centimeters divided by 20 seconds, which would be, I'll have to separate this, it's not confusing. That will be the same as saying 10 centimeters times 1/20 seconds. Okay, so that will give us 1/6 centimeters per second. So we have to do a little side work before we actually get to the linear speed, which is V. We need S and we need time. We had to find S first. Is there any questions on number 8? Okay. Let's do number 9. That one's different.
Oh, wait, sir, I was still writing something.
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
No rush.
All right, I got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. So number 9, I believe, right? Two sides of the right triangle ABC are given. Find the indicated trig functions. Okay. So they don't actually draw it out for us. So number 9 says, we'll try to shorten this up. Find secant of B when A is equal to 2, and B is equal to 5. So it's a right triangle in the question. They told us that information. Got 2 and 5 as my sides. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So C would be the square root of these guys. So C is equal to 2 squared plus 5 squared. So C would be the square root of 4 plus 25, square root of 29. There we go. So now we got all three sides, so we can find the trig functions. It said, actually, it only said find secant. So what is the definition of secant? So here's, let's say here is B. And here is A. Yeah. Hypotenuse over opposite. Let's see, hold on. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So
Hypotenuse over A.
yeah, over the adjacent side, right? Oops. So secant of that B is equal to hypotenuse over the adjacent. So hypotenuse, no worries, Joseph, it happens. Adjacent, so remember, adjacent depends on where B is, right? So if this is B, adjacent is going to be 2. Which is, yeah, the answer is B. This is it. So once you have your triangle, you just need the definitions of secant. So I would make sure those are written down somewhere just to be safe. All right, so that's number 9. Number 10, the same type of deal. Instead of a, yeah.
The triangle, is that given or are we drawing that all on our, is there like more information that they
Oh,
give us?
let me copy paste so you can see. There was no triangle. All they gave us was this. I just don't want to spend too long writing it. So 2 sides of a right triangle ABC. C is a right angle, so that's why I put C here. I didn't label it, but are given. Find the indicated trigonometric functions of the given angle. So they want us to find secant of B given 2 sides. So you have to find the hypotenuse yourself and you have to draw the triangle yourself. Then you can find secant.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And I guess you could do 10, that's fine. It's a little different. Ten says, so given, shorten it up again, given tangent of theta equal to 3, find sine of theta. And these are the instructions for number 10. But all we need is those two pieces of information. So we know that tangent of theta is equal to opposite over adjacent, right? Which is 3/1. So sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So we know it's going to be 3 over something. So we can draw the triangle to help us out. Let's say theta is right here. So opposite and adjacent are right there. 3 squared is 9, 1 squared is 1. So this would be square root of 10 if you do Pythagorean theorem. So this would be square root of 10. We must rationalize this by multiplying top and bottom by root 10, which will give us this answer. Answer is C. So given tangent, you're able to draw your triangle, technically. Any questions on 10? Okay. Number 11 just wants you to find tangent of pi over 6 on your unit circle. I'm going to skip that one and do the word problem. Number 12, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, sir, real quick though, because I just want to ask rather than just pretend like I know.
Mhm.
How did the question actually give us the one for the adjacent?
No, it was implied. It was not given. Because we
So-
know there's always a 1 underneath any constant.
Okay,
So all they gave
So-
us was a 3. That's it.
because that would confuse the hell out of me if there wasn't. So it's just an implied one.
Yeah, you can always put a 1 underneath anything you like because the 1 doesn't do anything. Right? 3 divided by 1 is still 3.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I guess that I could see that being tricky. And I think about that. Okay, number 12. So I pasted the problem. It says solve the problem. A radio transmission tower is 230 feet tall. How long should a guy wire be if attached 10 feet from the top and is to make an angle of 33 degrees with the ground? Okay, I feel like we did something similar, but we'll go ahead and do it just for extra practice. Okay. So this is what I'm seeing. So we have some triangle, and then we have some attachment up here. So from here to here, it's 220 feet, right? Because they attached the wire here, 10 feet below the top. And they said, let's see, how far away am I? They didn't say how far. We may need to find it or we can work around it depending. But they said that they were 30 degrees of, how do they phrase it? is to make a 33-degree angle with the ground. So this is where I'm putting my 33. Yeah, okay. They did not say how long the guy wire was, correct? No. That's all we got. Okay. So we have the opposite side. They want us to find how long the guy wire should be. So they want us to find the hypotenuse. So we could use sine, or we could use a reciprocal to make the algebra easier. Doesn't matter. When I see an opposite, my go-to is sine, but we could use cosecant because that is equal to hypotenuse over opposite, right? And hypotenuse is what I want to solve for. So I kind of want it on top just to make the algebra easier, not because you need to do that. It's just this is just me being weird. If you would have used sine, it would have worked out, but you would have had to do a little extra algebra. I chose this one just to make it slightly easier. So cosecant of 30 degrees is equal to the unknown hypotenuse, the guy wire, over 220 feet, right? Multiply 220 on both sides, and we're pretty much done. See how this was a little easier? Because it was on the bottom. So this cancels. So whatever this number is the length of the guy wire, the hypotenuse. Let's see what that is. 220 times, there is no cosecant button, so you would have to do 1 over sine. To make it, to be careful, I'm gonna do 1 divided by sine of 30. So put my parentheses and I should be good. Oops, am I in degrees? I am not. Switch back. Do it again. 440. $220. Oh, sorry, it was 33, wasn't it? My bad. I was like, what happened? Something went wrong here. There we go. So it's 403.94 feet. That's my hypotenuse, or in other words, the guy wire. Any questions on that? And if you're curious what the heck a guy wire is, this is what it looks like. Support cables connect to an antenna or tower or something. And they're usually anchored to something. Anyway, you got school on 12? So the answer is A.
So just to clarify, sir, you did the 30s there because it just made math easier for you?
Oh, that was a mistake. I had to
Oh,
change it
okay.
on the calculator. Let me go ahead and change it here for you too. That was me wanting it to be 30 because those are easy. Those are on the circle. It is not 30 though. Okay. And the exact value, I think we should do, maybe 13 would be worth it. Yeah, it's going to do it. It's fine. So given that tangent of theta is equal to -2/5 in quadrant 2, find cosine. Okay. So if we're in quadrant 2, is cosine negative or positive? Yeah, it's going to be negative. So when we solve for the missing value, then we will have to use the minus. And let me show you what I mean. So we have the opposite over adjacent. So the opposite over adjacent, the 2 is technically positive. This is the negative one because that's my x, right? Because it's sine over cosine is tangent. Not that it matters. If you just remember to put a negative on your cosine, let's say you would have forgot that and made it a positive. At the very end, you need to remember that this needs to be negative. So you could attach it at that point. But I'm doing it here just so make it clear. This is because it's quadrant 2, right? We're on the left-hand side. So the hypotenuse, when you solve for it, 5 squared plus 2 squared, that is 29. That's going to be hypotenuse. So cosine theta is equal to -5 over square root of 29. We have to rationalize. That'd be -√29 over 29. Looks like D. That's our answer. Any of these steps not make sense?
Go over them a little bit slower, sir.
Yeah, so remember the tangent is opposite over adjacent, right? So if I would have, so the x part, the adjacent part, is going to be negative. Opposite is going to be positive. Solve for hypotenuse using a squared plus b squared equal to c squared. Remember that cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. That's where this came from. And then you have to get rid of the square root by rationalizing, multiplying the top and bottom by square root 29. So that gets us to this answer, canceling the root on the bottom. So this question assumes you know the definitions of sine, cosine, and can build the triangle. Excuse me. So I'm gonna write a little extra note here. This is what I used. And then I use this, of course. Any questions on number 13?
So basically, as long as we know which quadrants are negative and positive in, just make sure that's in the final answer.
Yeah, like as long as you don't forget, right? They're telling you it's in a specific quadrant for a reason. The answer must be negative. Like I don't care what you do, if you make sure it's negative.
Oh.
Okay. 14, there's nothing to really do here. Let me show you. So they're saying point P is in the unit circle. So remember when we look at the circle, there's a bunch of X's and Y's, right? On the actual traditional circle. And we know that cosine is the X. So they're asking you, if this is a point on the circle, find cosine, well, you choose the X. See how there's nothing to do here.
Could you say that one more time?
Well, let's open the circle real quick. If I can find it. Where are you? Circle. $24. Yeah. So this is what they're saying. They're saying point P is some point on this circle. And then they tell you the point is this one. Let's pretend they're talking about this guy right here. What is the cosine of this point? Now you see how you would choose 1/2, right? That's all we're doing. Legit, no actual thought here. Where's the question at? Okay. Here. So they give you a point on the circle, and they ask you to find cosine. So you choose the X. That's the answer. On this one, there is no work to show.
So X is always cosine,
Yes.
and what is Y?
Y is the sign.
Okay.
So it's always on, when you're looking at the circle, that's what they're referring to on the X's and Y's. Sine of that angle, Y, cosine of the angle, X. 14 or 15, sine of -2 pi is 0. Cosine of 5 pi over 2 is 0. You could try to reduce this into one circle, but there's not much to do here, honestly. It's more like, here, let me show you what we could do. Sine of -2 pi plus cosine of 5 pi over 2. So you agree that 5 pi over 2 is more than 360, right? More than 2 pi. So I went around the circle too many times, so I'm going to subtract 2 pi. So I need to get the common denominator and multiply by 2 over 2. Now they're the same, so my answer will be pi over 2. So this is the same as saying sine of 2 pi, because this is just going 360 degrees in a negative direction, so I can just change it. Plus cosine of pi over 2. So at this point, you should look at your circle. This will be 0. This will be 0. So the answer is 0. So the only work I could really do is this. Just to make it more obvious that this is going to be 0. Because once you look at the circle, right? Sine of 2 pi means I go all the way around. Sine is the 0. Cosine of pi over 2 is the x, so 0. That's where these came from. Your circle. Any questions on 15?
Wait, sir, what was the actual answer then on that case? Was it
Just 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. It's C. Okay. 16. What is, you can tell pretty quickly, right? Amplitude is just the number in front of the sign, but you're never going to use negative. It's always going to be positive. So it's just 3. 3. So nothing to do here other than remember your formula. What is the amplitude? How do you find the amplitude? Well, you take the coefficient in front, but it's always the absolute value, meaning you never write -3. Okay. 17, I think it is. I forgot what number I'm on. 15, 16, 17. 17 is slightly, to use a slight amount of work. Find the period. Y equal to cosine 5x. So the period formula we said was 2 pi over omega, or I think I used maybe B. I forget what I used, what this book uses, but y is equal to a cosine of wx. So this number is what gives us the period. So the period will be 2 pi over 5. So all you need is the formula. Any questions on number 17? Okay. 18 is nothing to do. All you need to do is remember, what does tangent look like? Well, it's one of these types. Shifted pi over 2 to the right hand side. So this is the only one that's shifted. This one's reflected. This one's shifted incorrectly. And it's facing the wrong way. So it has to be this shape. Has to be A or D. And it has to be shifted correctly. And this is the original. So it can't be that one. It has to be this one. So the way to do this is to remember, what does tangent look like? So let's go ahead and go to Desmos. See, tan looks like this. It's the only thing I asked you to remember in 6.4 and 6.5. What do the basic functions look like? So if I shift it back from college algebra, we said that this was a horizontal shift, right? You see how the blue one is shifted to the right? Right. So that was enough to tell me it has to be this shape and it has to be over here somewhere. That's why I chose D. If you punch it in your calculator, you'll get this answer automatically. There is no work to be shown. All you need to remember is what does tangent look like if you don't have a calculator. And remember what a horizontal shift is. So that was 18, 19, the same type of deal, and they just use secant. Again, I'll also let you use Desmos as well. I'm gonna make sure that's in there, so you can also graph it in there if you like. The rest are graphing questions, so that's about it. Yeah, so that's it for the review. Guys, have any questions on the problems we went over? Does it seem doable? The test should be similar. Let me make sure that Desmos is turned on while I'm here right now. I would be upset if it's not. Oh, I see. So on the first question, when you start the exam, there's going to be a link. When you click that link, it will open a tab in your lockdown browser to let you use the graphing tool. That's all you have to do, if you choose to use it. So you'll have Desmos open up for you, okay? You guys have any questions or concerns about anything or anything you're struggling with? Still have a little bit of time if you have any homework problems or whatever.
How many questions are going to be on the test?
Should be similar to this. Let me see. I'll tell you. Looks like 20 questions.
Thank you.
The last 3 you can just punch into Desmos and graph them. I won't expect any work from you.
Are they all gonna be multiple choice?
They will have multiple choice, but again, that's grade is based on your work, not the choice.
Do we have to get COVID tested this week?
I would recommend it if you can.
Okay.
If it's like a big deal this week, I mean, maybe you can get away till next week, but I wouldn't push it past
I
that.
did it last week.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we don't have to do it this week if we got tested last week?
I'm sure you would get away with it, but I'm not advising you to do that.
Okay.
I think you're supposed to get it every week or you risk being withdrawn. But I don't know if you'll get a warning. I'm pretty sure they'd have to give you a warning. So, you know, if there's something going, if you're too busy this week, I'm sure you could get away with it if it's a big deal. But that's what I'm saying.
I
Are
was
you
just
trying-
wondering if. Sorry. I was more just wondering if you talked to the administration, see if they'd let you change the classification of the class to remote learning.
I haven't heard back yet. I'm gonna call the chair tomorrow and see what, I think I might have to do some paperwork because I had let them know, but they haven't got back to me. Things have been crazy on their end, but yeah, let me I'll let you know by Thursday, see what's going on with that. Okay.
For showing our work, sir,
Mhm.
do you want, is that gonna be through the actual test, or would you want us to do like a separate, like,
So yeah, let me show you how that works. Yeah, it's a good question. So here's my canvas. Looks a little bit different than yours, but pretty similar. So your reviews right here that I just went over. I want you to go in here and practice and make sure your response works, assuming you installed it, set it up and everything. Go here, make sure it works before you do anything. Once you're confident it works, then go to the exam. Show your work for every single problem, be as neat as possible, and then scan that here within 30 minutes. So you have about 30 minutes to scan your work as a PDF into this section. So you can use phone apps, or you can use your own scanner, whatever you choose to use. But you'll have to put it there. I mean, I don't mind if you go over by a few minutes. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, you fell, you turn it at 32 minutes, but if you turn it in hours later, I'm probably not going to give you a good grade for test 1. So as you're working, make sure you're solving the problems one by one in here. So when this closes, you just upload it there. Okay. So
if I,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, sir, if I can't get it to actually upload correctly for some reason, like because I don't have a scanner at my house or anything, and if I try to use it on an app on my phone's like glitchy as fuck. Can I just
What kind of phone do you have?
I think it's one of the Google ones.
Oh, never mind.
Anyways, but can I just text it to you because my camera works fine on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as soon as it ends, text me what you did,
Just take a picture of it
and
text it.
then that way I know what to expect, and you can take your time figuring out how to upload it, because technically it'll stay open until the next day. So I won't assume you're going to change anything because I already have your pictures. So that'll give you some time to try to get it on there as a PDF. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No way you won't feel pressured, since your phone is weird. But I hear Cam Scanner is a good one, and there's some other apps and videos. I think there might be a video in here. Yeah, there's some videos on how to scan things, etc. Ignore this, it's old. But I know I think now iPhone can use the notepad to scan things pretty easily now instead of Cam Scanner. So if you have that, you go feel free to use it. You just shove the photos into the notepad and then convert it to PDF. Anyway, if you guys have no other questions, you're welcome to head out. If you want to stick around for a bit, you can. I have no more stuff for you today. We will start 6-7 on Thursday, I think, or 6-6, sorry.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You too. See you later, Joseph.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Actually, no, I did have a question about something on the homework 6-5, I think.
Mhm.
On the very last 2 graphs,